Hello and welcome to the lesson where we are going to learn about the bishop pair. If you take both of your bishop and point them toward the opponent's king, then these two bishops becomes a powerful attacking force. Two bishops put side by side together, they can control both kind of squares, both the light squares and the dark squares. And that's what it makes them super dangerous. Bishops are long range piece. You don't have to take them near to the opponent's king. You can keep the bishops in your area and point them toward the opponent's king, and they will do a fantastic job of threatening the king. Let's learn this simple and powerful idea. Just point both of your bishop toward the opponent's king. That's it. In this position, you can see that white has put both of his bishops side by side and they are pointing toward the opponent's king. These bishops are not near the king, they are far away from the king, but these two bishops are deadly. Here white played knight e4. White wants to exchange the defender of the king. f6 knight is doing a good job of defending the king, so we want to exchange it. Black plays knight to a5, opening the diagonal of this bishop. Let's say if here black plays knight cross e4, then white plays queen cross e4. We got a queen bishop battery and we are attacking the h7 square. Black plays g6 and now we play d5. We open the diagonal of another bishop. E cross d5, c cross d5, knight a5, and we can play queen d4, threatening a checkmate on the h8 square. Black will play f6 to block the diagonal, and then we can play queen cross b6. We are forking these two pieces and we are going to win material. That's why in this position black played knight a5. And now we played pawn to d5, opening the diagonal of this dark squared bishop. And we are threatening to take on f6. If black now captures on e4, then again we play queen cross e4. After g6, we can play queen e5. Again threatening a checkmate on h8. Black plays f6 and we can play queen cross e6 check, winning a pawn. And we have a passed pawn on the d5. So white is completely winning in this situation. That's why here black decided to play e cross d5. And now we can play knight cross f6 check. We want to destroy the pawn cover of the opponent's king. If black plays bishop cross f6, then we first play queen d3, threatening a checkmate on h7 square. Black will play g6 to protect it, and then we can simply capture the bishop for free. That's why here black cannot really take our knight with the bishop. Black must play g cross f6, and now look, we have managed to ruin the pawn structure of the black's king. We can try to attack it using this g file. We can try to attack it on the h7 square, and we can use this square for our knight. White immediately plays knight to h4. White's idea is to put a knight on f5 square, threatening the bishop, and knight will be very powerful attacker on f5. If black plays a move like knight cross c4, then we can immediately go queen h5, threatening a checkmate on the h7 square. After queen g7, protecting it, then we go knight f5. We are threatening the queen, we are also threatening the bishop. If black plays queen g6, then we can play knight cross e7, forking the king and the queen. And black does not have a good defense, so black is lost in this position. Here, black decided to play d4. Black wants to put his bishop on c5 and try to make it active. We don't have to capture this pawn yet. We can continue with our attack. Here white plays knight f5. Black plays bishop to c5. And now we first give a check. The king is exposed from the g file. This is the typical way of attacking in this pawn structure. As the king is vulnerable, so we attack it on the g file. King h8, and now we play queen h4. First, we are threatening queen cross f6 check, and second, there is an indirect attack on the h7 square. Black cannot defend both of these threats. That's why black resigned in this position. If black plays a move like bishop f6 to protect it, then we play knight cross e7. We are threatening a checkmate on the h7 square. Black can try to play like this, but we have already won a piece. So white is completely winning. Now let's look at one more example of this type. How we keep our bishop side by side, point it toward the opponent's king, and then attack it. And you will see the attack automatically becomes dangerous. After the initial opening moves, d4, knight f6, e6, black plays b6. Black is playing Queen's Indian defense. After e3, bishop to b7. Black got his first bishop on this long diagonal. d5, b3, bishop d6. And now second bishop, which is pointing toward the white's king side. From the opening itself, black is developing his pieces in a way that will help him to carry out the attack in the middle game. After castling. If you notice, white is also trying to do the same. Black plays knight bd7. Now black has developed all four of his minor pieces. Knight bd2, and black plays queen e7, developing his queen. Rook c1, rook a d8, queen c2, and now we play c5. We attack in the center. If we want to attack this king, then we need to open this diagonal. After c cross d5, e cross d5, d cross c5, b cross c5. White's idea is that white wants to use this open file to put pressure on the black's pawn. White plays queen c3. Now the knight cannot move because of mating attack on the g7 square. Black plays rook f8, simply developing his last piece. Rook f d1, white does the same, and now black is ready to start an attack on the white's king. So first black plays pawn to d4, sacrificing a pawn and opening the diagonal of this bishop. White plays e cross d4. We play c cross d4, it's a pawn sacrifice, and let's say white plays a move like knight cross d4. Now comes the killer blow. Both of our bishop are pointing toward the king, and knight was a defender of the king side. Now the knight is no longer on f3, so we can play bishop cross h2 check, immediately sacrificing a piece. King cross h2, now we play knight g4 check, bringing more pieces into the attack. King g1, and the queen comes on h4. You see, when the knight was on f3, knight was covering h2 square and the h4 square. So bishop cross h2 check was not possible, and queen h4 check move was also not possible. After a move like knight f2, we can play queen cross f2 check, and we can try to bring more pieces into the attack. After king h1, we play knight e5, bringing more pieces into the attack and preparing a deadly move like rook d6 to rook s6 checkmate. That's why in this position, white decided not to capture the pawn. White wants to keep his knight on f3 to defend the h2 pawn. So here black plays queen a5, hitting the black's e7 pawn. And now we play knight e5. We don't care about the pawns, we bring our pieces near the center so that we can launch the attack on the white's king. We have these two dangerous bishops that are pointing toward the king, so we want to take advantage of it. Knight cross e5, we play bishop cross e5. White plays knight c4, attacking our bishop. And now, before you sacrifice the bishop on h2, let's play an important move. Black played rook to d5, lifting the rook. And once the rook joins the attack will become even more dangerous. So white plays queen d2. And now comes bishop cross h2 check. Killer blow on h2 to destroy the pawn cover of the white's king. After king cross h2, we can follow up with rook h5 check. Now rook is in the attack. King g1, and we play knight g4. Our threat is to bring the queen into the game and checkmate the king on h1. White plays rook e1. White's idea is that now black cannot play a move like queen h4 because of rook cross e8 checkmate. But here black has another killer move. Look, black wants to bring his queen on h4 with a check, so that white cannot play rook cross e8 checkmate. So how do we bring our queen on h4 with a check? We play rook h1 check first. We sacrifice our rook so that the king comes on the h file, and now our queen can come to h4 with a check. Queen h4 check, king g1, queen h2 check, king f1, queen h1 checkmate. White did not have the time to play rook cross e8. When you place two bishops side by side and point them toward the opponent's king, your attack becomes even more dangerous. So try to use this idea in your games. Now let's go to the next lesson.